Hi every wise reader, welcome to the next video from Read Wiser, a YouTube channel dedicated to helping you improve yourself through books. Today, we're diving into a book that truly revolutionized productivity, Getting Things Done, by David Allen. Do you ever have that nagging feeling that you're forgetting something important? You're in a meeting, but your mind is running through a grocery list. You're trying to relax, but your brain keeps reminding you about an email you forgot to send. This constant low-level anxiety is the soundtrack to modern life for so many of us. We're overloaded and our brains are full. What if the solution wasn't to work harder or find a new magical app, but to fundamentally change how we manage those thoughts? What if you could achieve a state of perfect readiness where your mind is clear and you're totally focused on the task at hand? This state is what David Allen calls stress-free productivity. That feeling of being overwhelmed is the central problem David Allen tackles in Getting Things Done. He argues that our brains did not evolve to handle the sheer volume and ambiguity of modern knowledge work. Unlike an assembly line, our work often has no edges. This creates a constant stream of what Allen calls open loops or incompletes, commitments, ideas and tasks that are floating around in our heads. The book's core conflict is that we're trying to use our brain as a storage device, a to-do list. But our mind is for having ideas, not holding them. This constant juggling of stuff is the single largest consumer of our time and energy, and it's the root of our stress. The book's solution is a complete system, a new set of behaviors, to get all of this stuff out of your head and into an external, trusted system. In this video, we'll break down the complete Getting Things Done framework. We'll start with the book's core philosophy, then dive into the 5-stage system for managing your workflow, and finally, look at the critical physical setup you need to make it all work. The book opens by introducing its core revolutionary promise. You can be maximally efficient and relaxed at the same time. Allen calls this state effectively doing while you are delightfully being. This isn't just about getting more done. It's about being fully present in whatever you're doing, whether that's closing a deal or gazing at your sleeping child in his or her crib at midnight. The book immediately tackles the paradox of modern life. We want to savor life, but this seems downright impossible if you're working too hard. Allen argues that traditional solutions, new software, a cool personal planner, or even a personal mission statement are not by themselves sufficient to manage the voluminous and ambiguous nature of modern work. Just when you think you're organized, you graduate to the next accepted batch of responsibilities, and the old formulas fail. This system, by contrast, is a compilation of more than 2 decades worth of discoveries about personal productivity. It has been tested in the trenches with thousands of professionals, from top executives trying to instill ruthless execution in their teams to students who, as Allen notes, are still not taught how to process information or focus on outcomes. This method is needed by everyone. The book is structured into 3 clear parts. Part 1, which we'll cover next, describes the whole game, the why and the what of the system. Part 2, which we'll also dive into, is your personal coaching, a step-by-step how-to guide for implementation. Part 3, which is beyond the scope of this summary, explores the deeper, more profound results. The most empowering part of this whole introduction is Allen's repeated assurance that this entire process is easy to do and involves no new skills at all. You already know how to write things down. You know how to focus. You know how to decide on outcomes. This book doesn't ask you to become a new person. It just gives you a new, highly effective behavioral structure to leverage those basic skills for new plateaus of effectiveness. The promise is that by applying these methods, you can save your life from day-to-day firefighting and change your life by creating a new, sustainable balance. So the book promises a way to be both productive and relaxed by applying skills we already have. But what is the core theory behind this? Why are we so stressed in the first place? That brings us to the core philosophy of the Getting Things Done system, detailed in Part 1. Let's explore that next. Part 1 of the book lays out the entire conceptual framework, and it all starts with identifying the real source of your stress. Alan argues it's not the work itself, but the unmanaged open loops you're holding in your head. An open loop or incomplete is anything pulling at your attention that you've committed to but haven't finished. From buy milk to launch new product line. The reason something is on your mind is that you haven't clarified the outcome, you haven't decided the next action, and you haven't put a reminder in a trusted system. Your brain's short-term memory, like a computer's RAM, is for processing, not storage. When you overload it with these incompletes, it's constantly distracted, and that is what creates anxiety. This constant, unproductive preoccupation is the single largest consumer of time and energy. In fact, your mind is kind of stupid in this way. It reminds you that you need batteries when you see the dead flashlight, not when you're at the store. As soon as you have two to-dos in your head, you've generated personal failure, because you can't do them both at the same time. Old models like ABC priorities or daily to-do lists are inadequate because the first phone call of the day can totally undo them. The solution is to achieve what Alan calls a mind like water. This is a martial arts metaphor for a state of perfect readiness. When you throw a pebble into a pond, the water doesn't overreact or underreact. It responds totally appropriately to the force and mass of the input, and then returns to calm. Your mind can work this way too, but only if you get 100% of your stuff out of your head and into a trusted external system. Stuff is defined as anything in your world that doesn't belong where it is, until you have determined the desired outcome and the next action step. To manage this stuff, you need a horizontal system for all of life's inputs. This is the famous 5-stage workflow. 1. Collect everything. Get every idea, task, and commitment into a collection bucket. 2. Process what it means. Look at each item and ask, is it actionable? 3. Organize the results. If it's not actionable, you trash it, file it for reference, or put it on a someday maybe list. If it is actionable, you organize it. 4. Review your options regularly. This is the key to trusting your system. 5. Do. You execute your chosen action. The most critical part of that process step is deciding the next action. This isn't the project, it's the next physical, visible activity required to move it forward. Plan party is a project. Call venue for pricing is a next action. This is the key to making vague stuff concrete and actionable. But what about those big complex projects? For those, Alan introduces a vertical system called the natural planning model. He argues this is how your brain naturally plans, even if you don't realize it. It has 5 phases. 1. Define purpose, asking, why are we doing this? 2. Envision the outcome, asking, what does wild success look like? 3. Brainstorm, where you dump all ideas without judgment. 4. Organize, where you sort those ideas. And 5. Identify next actions, where you define the physical steps to get moving. This model turns overwhelming projects into a clear, manageable process. So, Part 1 gives us the complete theory. Get open loops out of your head to achieve a mind like water, using a 5-stage system for horizontal workflow and a 5-phase model for vertical project planning. The theory is brilliant, but how do you actually build this system in the real world? What tools do you need? What does your office need to look like? Let's find out in the next chapter, where we get practical. If Part 1 was the theory, Part 2 is the literal how-to construction manual. Alan argues that successful implementation is not just mental, it is physical. You have to build a cockpit of control. This system relies on what Alan calls tricks, simple, physical setups that your smart part creates, so your not-so-smart part will respond automatically. This is about removing all friction from the process. For example, the trick of putting your keys on top of a report you must take to work. The system is full of these. It starts with time. You must set aside a significant block, ideally 2 full uninterrupted days, to do the initial collection and processing of all your backlog. This isn't something you do in your spare time. It's a one-time heavy lift to gather every single piece of stuff, from old mail to memos, to random ideas on napkins, to every email in your inbox, and process it all down to ground zero. Next, you need a dedicated functional workspace. This central cockpit of control is critical. Alan is very clear. You must have your own space. He notes that sharing a desk, even with a spouse, creates subtle stress and is counterproductive. This space must be equipped with the basic low-tech tools. Forget expensive software for a minute. You need a pen, paper, and at least 3 paper holding trays, the stackable side-facing kind, one for in, one for out, and one for your read and review stack. You also need an automatic labeler. Alan calls the labeler a surprisingly critical tool. It makes creating files fast and legible, which again reduces friction. But the single most surprisingly critical tool, and the one most people fail on, is a general reference filing system. This isn't a complex color-coded nightmare. It's a simple, fast, single A to Z alphabetical system that is at hand's reach from your desk. The drawers must be kept less than 3/4 full, and you must have a stack of fresh folders ready. Why? Because you must be able to file a single piece of paper in less than 1 minute. If it takes longer, if it's a pain, you'll unconsciously resist processing your in tray because you know filing will be a chore. The goal is to make capturing, processing, and organizing stuff so easy, so frictionless that you just do it. That's the master trick. This combination of a clear philosophy in part 1 and a physical, practical setup in part 2 creates the complete, revolutionary, getting things done system. So let's synthesize what we've learned. The Getting Things Done method is a powerful, holistic system for managing the chaos of modern life. It's built on a simple, profound insight. Your head is for having ideas, not holding them. The stress we feel is a direct result of open loops, solely the stuff we've committed to but haven't clarified, clogging up our mental RAM. The book's resolution to this conflict is a 3-part journey. First, in the welcome, we embrace the promise that we can be both highly effective and wonderfully relaxed, effectively doing while delightfully being. We accept that this isn't a magic bullet tool, but a new set of behaviors that involve no new skills. Second, in part 1, we learn the core philosophy. We learn to identify the real enemy, those open loops, and the goal to achieve a mind like water. We adopt the horizontal 5-stage workflow: collect, process, organize, review, and do. This is the system that manages the flow of everything coming at you. The key to this entire flow is the next action decision, the commitment to define the next physical, visible activity for every task. And we learn the vertical, natural planning model to tackle big projects. Finally, in part 2, we get our hands dirty. We learn that this system is physical. We must dedicate the time, 2 full days, to build our cockpit of control. We must set up our space, not shared with anyone, and stock it with low-friction tricks. This means in trays, a labeler, and most critically, a simple to Z at hand's reach filing system that is less than 3/4 full and takes less than 1 minute to use. The lasting message of Getting Things Done is that you can take back control. You don't need new skills, just a new set of behaviors. By getting everything out of your head and into a trusted system, you free up your mind to finally be fully present, creative, and relaxed, to be effectively doing while delightfully being. Ultimately, the Getting Things Done system is a blueprint for a clearer mind. But what's your biggest takeaway? Are you inspired to finally set up your own cockpit of control? And what's the one open loop that's been stressing you out the most? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you found this summary helpful, please hit the like button and be sure to subscribe to Read Wiser for more deep dives into life-changing books. Thanks for watching.